Hello, mic check.
Hey, hey. I'm on. Yeah, I'm in.
You're in. Mic check. I'm checking. We're live. Oh, there we are.
We are live.
Hello. Remember the Three Stooges? hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Please share. This is going to be a very sensitive, hot topic, and it's not what you think it's going to be. This is going to be something. And I am so excited to be here. Sophia, Lori Fox is not here on tonight. And I hope she's looking because Duke, who is clean as the board of health, has stolen her seat.
Stop and tell me more.
Yes, indeed. I am so happy to have you back. I mean, right now, he's just a part of New Wine. He's like the New Wine male figure.
Represent for all the brothers out there.
Now, this started off as a show for women
Only.
with candid conversation, but they invaded.
Wow.
The men invaded.
We had to come through and represent.
So have they been representing?
They have.
They have been representing, and it's just different topics that women need men to represent. And we need to know your opinions, and we need to know your stance on things. And that way we can, do better in just our relationships with men, be it our sons, be it our husbands, be it our brothers, the whole 9 yards. So we can't live with you guys, but we definitely can't live without you. So without further ado, you know what I call you. So go ahead and introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself.
No problem. Hello, everybody. Hey, social media fans. I'm so excited to be here again on this platform with New Wine Talk. We have a phenomenal show with our special guest today. We really want you to listen up, because some of the things that we're talking about is not just hearing a story, but it's also to educate you as well, to take you into someone else's world so that you can really appreciate them and appreciate what the things that we're talking about and trying to make a change with. So I'm just excited to be here with you guys today. And I do have to give a shout out to Lori as I'm taking her seat today. She did. I have to tell you, you mean so much to me, Lori. Oh my goodness, that word that you brought forward on Sunday. My goodness, I can't stop talking about it. So I just want to give you your props, because you have such a beautiful spirit, and just tell you to continue to do what you do, because you are really, you really are taking gospel to the world. So I just appreciate you and just love you, and appreciate that I'm sitting here in your stead right now.
In your seat, keeping it warm for you, girl. Not sick.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited tonight, as Sir Duke just said to be here. This topic is going to be very sensitive, but it's real, right?
It's so
And it's
real.
happening every day.
So
So we're asking that you share tonight. Please share to your groups, share to everyone on tonight. It's going to be good.
Roshan.
Well, I guess that's me. My name is Roshan. I am happy to be here on the New Wine Show. Thank you for having me as a
So
guest.
happy.
And I'm just ready to tell my story.
So cool. The love bug, y'all.
Hello, I'm Aisha T, and I'm here to remind you that you are loved, that you do matter, you are beautiful, and truly you are a gift that's meant to contribute to life. We're going to have a great show, as they said, share, and share again.
And I am Gail Johnson, and I like to be here. I'm here like every Tuesday. Get here early to make sure everything is running smoothly so that you guys can be blessed. This show was kind of just birthed out of a necessity to have open conversations that we basically most often don't have at Bible study. It's mostly a place where we're taught the word of God, but we never really get a chance most often to have interaction. And so we came together to just kind of talk about issues and allow you to comment or ask questions, so on and so forth, per Facebook Live. Because as you know, most often people don't get to go out sometimes on Wednesdays or Tuesdays or whatever during Bible study times. They are taking care of their children and they want to participate. And so New Wine Talk was just birthed out of a need to communicate, a need for women to just ask questions, to come together and have that candid conversation, as Maisha says. I just love the candid conversation. And so tonight we really do have a very sensitive topic. So I want you to, take 2 or 3 minutes and share with young women, share with your daughters, share with your nieces, share with those who are in college, because this topic really needs to be talked about. I mean, we're talking tonight, as you guys, I'm sure you watched the promo, we're talking about rape, and we're talking about how to talk to your daughters and how to talk to your sons, because we're gonna deal with that as well. How your children, your sons and your daughters can fall into some places that they really should not fall into. As a matter of fact, on last week, I was in Atlanta, and there was a funeral there for a young girl that was in college. And did you guys see that? Oh my God, it was so, you saw it? The young girl that was in college, and the roommate's boyfriend, they put something in her drink or whatever, and the guy raped her, and they murdered this girl because she reported it to the police. This putting stuff in your drink, back in the day, grandmas and mama would tell you, if you left your drink somewhere, don't ever go back and drink it. Remember? So it's those kind of things that really can happen to your daughters. These people sent their baby off to college, their child off to college for an education. And it's just devastating. I watched a part of the funeral. It was devastating. But on the flip end of that, there's our sons. And so we want to deal with not only the issue, we will never minimize rape or sexual assault. I myself is a victim of molestation, so that cannot be minimized. But we do have to acknowledge that sometimes there's a flip side to that, and our sons may be involved in those particular situations. Duke, you want to say something?
Oh yeah, most definitely. The reason that we brought Roshan on onto this platform is to share his story. It's really speaking to things that that we can just be caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. So we definitely want to educate you on ramifications of being caught up in the wrong time, wrong place at the wrong time, and what that can have a domino effect on your life. So with that, we would definitely want to introduce you to Roshan and give him an opportunity to talk about some of his books and some of the things that he's experienced. So if you will, go ahead and just share a little bit about yourself and what you want to do with this opportunity on this platform.
Well, like Mr. Bernard said, I am an author of 2 books. One of them is called Stolen Identity. And the title, Stolen Identity, most people would think of fraud or credit card theft, some kind of social security card theft. But my stolen identity, it actually talks about how I was sucked into the system when I was 17 years old, behind a false accusation with inadequate counsel and no support system. And it tell you about all the issues that I've been dealing with since I've been 17 years old, and I am now 37. I'll be
Jeez.
38 in 2020, and I am still dealing with this situation from when I was 17 that should not be.
Mhm.
And the domino effect, well, before I got to the domino effect, I was still going through my issues heavily when I wrote this book, Stolen Identity, and I really didn't know how to end it. So I left it off on a cliffhanger because I wasn't just going to make the end up.
Wow.
So I had to start the book, because I wanted it done. So I got it done, and I left it off on a cliffhanger. The second book, which is my autobiography continuation, is called The Vicious Cycle of the System, The Domino Effect.
Wow.
And the domino effect, it talks about that one situation that caused a downward spiral of domino effects in someone's life to where you just pretty much hanging halfway on and halfway off, just trying to get everything back together because everything's falling apart. So this book gives the first book closure. And this situation in my life, it's never going to be over, and that's what the domino effect pretty much give you. I'm going to be dealing with this for the rest of my life, no matter what happened. And I understand that the fight that I'm fighting right now with the criminal justice system, when in regards to this, everything that I do, everything that I'm fighting for, everything that I want to change within the system, it may not benefit me, but it's certainly going to benefit the people that's coming behind me. So this is who I
That's
do it
awesome.
for.
That's awesome. So can you tell them exactly what happened?
Yes. When I was 17 years old, a female snuck out of her home that's 1 year and 4 months younger than me. And we hung out, and yes, we did touch each other. We did everything that we wanted to do as kids, and that was be adults when nobody was around. We did whatever we wanted to do, but out of everything that we did not have sexual intercourse because I could not get an erection. I couldn't get an erection to save my life, and just because I couldn't get an erection and we did hang out, it was a party. And I'm not the one to throw slander on anybody's name, but like when we growing up as kids, we do things. Sometimes we do things that we may not be feel good about as an adult. Like, for example, taking certain drugs or having multiple sexual partners or, drinking or, whatever. But we were all fast. She had sex that night, and she had sex that night with somebody with almost the same name as mine. Literally. And he was 2 years older than me, so, but everything was still consensual. By the time she went home, I have no idea what took place when she went home.
Whoa.
But one thing ended up, it went from an in-home situation from mother and daughter to an out-home situation. I was the only one that felt the pain for pretty much over half my life.
Oh.
I was charged with touching a minor, even though we're 1 year and 4 months apart. And the Michigan law states that you can't legally have sex or do anything if you are 16 and under. And it say you are an adult at the age of 18, and I was 17, so I'm in the gray area. And then when you're 16 and under, you can't do anything unless your parents say you can. So they saying since she 16 and under, it don't matter if she touched you or you touched her or it was consensual. She's a kid. You can't touch her.
And you're 17.
I got charged with CSC in the 4th degree, which is criminal sexual conduct in the 4th degree, which is touching a minor. And we're 1 year and 4 months apart.
Jeez.
And as a kid, while I was going to court, I literally didn't think that there was nothing that can happen to me while I was going to court. I'm thinking that, it was all a joke in my mind. Like, I don't even understand why I'm going to court.
How did it come to be though? I mean, we understand that she said that, but I mean, what happened that led to that? Did her mom or she got in trouble because she was out too late? Or what was the predicament that came to where we are right now?
her mom
Her mom.
totally tripped out on her.
For
It was
being out late? or
yeah,
whatever?
she snuck out the house.
So she
wow.
made it up that you,
Actually, I don't know what story actually took place when she went home,
Mhm.
but one thing I do know is her mom was angry. Her mom
Right.
was upset.
That's a lot.
they needed a fall person? I want them to understand.
Well, you
Because
know,
you said there was actually somebody.
Thank
Did they never bring him into the story, or did you not talk about the
I
other
didn't.
person?
And she didn't.
So neither one of y'all did.
Right. Like,
Mhm.
and I didn't think, like, me in my mind, I'm thinking nothing happened. So there is no reason for me to even
be here.
involve in
Right.
anybody else. It's
Okay.
like, why am I bringing everybody into a situation? Right. So it's like, and plus they was college students. Everybody went to college in, like, I'm from Flint, Michigan.
Mhm.
Everybody went to college in the surrounding cities. You know, so while I was going to court, the people that was there, they say, you want me to come to court with you? You know, like, again, I'm thinking it's a joke in my mind. And I'm like, no, there's no reason for you to leave school, to come home, to come to court with me. I'm like, I'm fine. Everything all right. You know, like, there's no way anything can happen to me in a courtroom.
Oh my
I
God.
literally thought that as long as I told the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth in the court of law, everything could be all right.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
But ultimately, on May 27th, the day before my 18th birthday, they dangled 15 years in front of my life.
Jesus.
And they told me if I ain't signed a plea deal, that I was going to get 15 years.
Did you have any representation at that time?
I did.
Court appointed or?
No, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I believe my lawyer received $1,000 check from my wrestling coach.
Wow.
My
Okay.
wrestling coach,
Tried to help.
yep, he tried to help me out. My attorney was a friend that went to school with him in college, high school maybe. And
But it still wasn't good
Right,
representation.
he wasn't well versed, obviously.
No,
in
no,
the nature of this
no,
kind
no,
of thing.
because, you know, to me, good representation, number one is, and then back to what you said about a support system, because the support system, I'm gonna be honest with you, it needs to come from a place of prayer. That's number one, because our children can fall into those places. I remember my son got involved in a situation as well. I think him and a girl may have been 2 years apart or whatever. And we get detectives knocking on the door. Like, what do you want? You know? And so we had to go down, we had to bring this kid down. And after they talked to him, then he was able, but that could have been something that would have been very traumatic. He could have had that on his record the same way the rest of his life, the whole 9 yards. So I said that to say this. People understand how easy it is for your children to get in trouble. And for you not to have good representation will cost them their lives. You know what I'm saying? It cost them their life. So $1,000, that's all good. But some way, somehow, and you being innocent, good representation should have worked with that. It's no way. Because a kid, if you tell me you're going to give me 15 years, I'm going to do anything to get out of it, not realizing that the ramifications, that's going to come after the fact.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? But when you telling me 15 years, all I want to know is I'm not going to do 15 years in prison.
Had you been in trouble before? You had no prior record or anything?
this was the first time I ever was in court on,
Wow.
That's crazy.
like, I've never been a juvenile, you know, nothing like that. But I can tell you, when they told me if I didn't sign that plea deal, I'll do 15 years, the first thing I thought of was that was my life again. It was like, I felt like somebody literally had a gun to my head, you know, telling me, like,
Yes.
if I do not, then this is what's going to happen. And
Unbelievable.
I ended up signing the plea deal. The plea deal that I signed, it was, my lawyer told me that I would have to do 36 months of probation and 6 months ankle monitor.
Jeez.
And when the judge was breaking down my sentence, he said, you're going to have to do 36 months probation, 6 months ankle monitor. And then he said, did you tell him he's going to have to register as a sex offender?
Oh my God.
Wow.
I had no idea what a sex offender was. Like, I literally never even heard the phrase sex offender.
Jeez.
You know,
You're a
and,
child, a kid.
and my lawyer, he bent down, he said, you're gonna have to tell the police where you live for the next 10 years. So in my mind, it's like, okay, well,
So he minimized it.
Yeah.
yeah, he said you're gonna tell the police where you live for 10 years, and it's like, that's fine. I'd rather do that than go to prison for 15 years because I couldn't imagine doing 24 hours
Oh
at
my
the age
God.
of 17. Like the only thing I know about jail or prison is what I seen on TV
Of course.
or the
of course.
stories that I hear. You know,
Of
like
course.
I didn't want no parts of that life.
Of course.
So I agreed to the probation, you know, like I signed a deal that I thought I was signing for my freedom.
Oh my God.
And when 10 years came, when I turned 27, I was living in Texas. Actually, I came to Texas when I was 22. This is when I really felt the effects of what a sex offender was. Like I didn't even know what a sex offender was, even with me being on a registration up north.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So was
like,
it completely different up north than it is in Texas?
completely different.
Wow.
Texas don't play.
Wow.
Like,
Some of
like-
the differences
Yes.
do you experience?
What the differences?
Living, places you live?
yeah, like in Michigan, I never had a problem figuring out where I was gonna live.
Mm.
You know, like work. I mean, I guess I was still a kid, so I really didn't have too much job experience, like going from different places because I was a kid. But when I came to Texas, I was 22, going on 22, somewhere around there, and I ended up getting a townhouse the day that I got here. I didn't even know I was coming to Houston. But I get here, the first year, it was fine. You know, and when I got here, I registered. You know, I did what I was supposed to do. So I
Right.
told them where I was living because
Right.
I know I was supposed to do it for the next 10 years. All right. After I got a job at McDonald's, managing McDonald's when I first got here. Never managed nothing in my life before, but I'm working. I got me a place. Then the second year, I moved across the street from Memorial City Mall, and I was working inside Memorial City Mall, managing McDonald's still. And I got called to the office because somebody faxed a picture of me to McDonald's telling them that they got a sex offender working at McDonald's.
God.
Wow.
It's like, I'm working at McDonald's. What do you want me to do? I can't even get I'm working minimum pay.
Mhm.
You know, like you don't even want me to have a little job so I can survive. They want to tell McDonald's, you got a sex offender working here.
Oh my
You
God.
know, but McDonald's, they was fine. They let me work there. Next thing I know, I was getting put out of my apartment.
Oh my God.
And then I got another apartment. Got put out of that apartment.
Jeez.
You know,
Listen,
I didn't
people.
ask
Yeah.
you
Listen,
before
young
you moved
men.
in.
Listen. Well, you put it on your
Right, that's what I'm saying. You
deal.
didn't tell them
I
before.
didn't say sex
So fit
offender.
right. They say crime because they
Mhm.
just ask if you ever
Mhm.
been convicted of
Convicted
a
of a
crime.
crime.
Yeah, and you know, it's like it's an embarrassing topic. Like we was talking before, you know, like when people hear the title of any type of sex offense, nobody care about how you actually got there.
Of course,
Exactly.
and that's
You
that's.
know,
Mhm,
the only thing people worried about is the title.
mhm, mhm.
So, you know, I start feeling the effects of losing job after job, house after house. Like it got to the point to where I was losing so many jobs and so many houses that I started lying to everybody on every single application because I didn't know what else to do. Like I'm telling people that I've never been convicted of a crime because I just need somewhere to live. And it's like, if I don't have nowhere to live, it's like, what I'm gonna do?
Mhm.
I'm lying to my jobs because I need to make $1 some kind of way so I can eat.
Mhm.
It was one year
Jesus.
I had, when I tell you 16 W-2s when I went to go file my taxes,
Oh my God.
the
Wow.
people at the income tax place was laughing. They didn't know why I had 16 W-2s, but they just seen me with all these W-2s and they calling me Jamaican and all that stuff. Like, why I got all these W-2s? Like,
Mhm.
you must be rich. You know, it's like, no, I just, every week or two, I keep getting fired from a job. Every 30 days, I keep getting fired for a job. I can't keep a job, but I have to keep something going so I can,
Can survive.
yeah.
My issue with that with our system is you have a person who I don't know you, but I feel like I don't get a vibe from you that's negative or ugly. But I feel like when you put people in these positions, you push them to become something they're not so that they can make it. Okay. And I'm gonna reference a movie that has nothing to do with him. But like the Five Heartbeats, when Choir Boy, Daddy was saying, you this, you this, you this, until one day the boy who was trying to do everything right in a world where he was surrounded by wrong said, that's what you think I am. That's what I'm going to be. And it's easy for somebody who's on a sex offender list to say, hey, this is what you think I am. And your mind start playing with tricks with you to say, well, let me be you that. So now I can actually deserve the treatment that I'm getting because I didn't do anything to deserve it. I have an issue with that. And we need to consider the position that we put people in mentally, emotionally, everything. Yes, it's just not okay.
Yes.
No.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, y'all know that on this platform, I always say you just never judge a book by its cover. You never know a person's story. That's why you just can't be so quick to judge. And I always say that nobody wakes up one day and says, this is the road that I'm gonna take. It's a series of things that happen in a person's life. I truly believe that leads them down these paths. So just don't be so quick to judge somebody just by what you think that you see, because until you walk in that person's shoes, you have no idea what that person has gone through to get them to where they are.
Wow. Not only that, today I was reading, and I was telling Rashawn that I Googled, I did try to do research, look at different articles as it related to young men, juveniles. I even put juveniles falsely convicted of rape and a variety of things I put in the search engine to find out if I could read articles. Nothing came up except for one particular article, and a young man had been accused and he had gotten out, of the situation. But that was it. It was nothing to reference. When people get in that type of trouble, just like the Central Park 5, the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just this year that we have something to even reference with men, young, especially African-American young Black men, getting falsely accused of quote unquote rape or whatever it is. But that's a prime example where those boys, and I was just reading, and I never watched the movie, I'm gonna be honest with you, because it's so disturbing to me. I saw like clips of it, and some things I can't handle because I take it and I get very angry, or I get very saddened by it. And so I've watched clips of some of the boys, but I've never been able to sit down and watch it as a movie, to watch the whole movie. But I have read some things that the guys were saying, and they were like, we were railroaded. They were fearful for their lives. They were tired. They were hungry. They were being beaten, all of this different stuff. And so it was better just to say, I'm guilty than to fight anymore. So it's almost like you can just deal with someone psychologically and beat them down to a place where I just want to get out of this, And so that sounds like what happened to you, Rashawn.
I replay, my situation back in my head all the time. And I used to tell myself, as I got older, that I never should have taken that plea deal. The plea deal that I thought I was signing for my freedom, I said I should have never done it. And I should have taken it all the way, and I should have taken it to trial, because no judge, no jury, nobody would have ever convicted me from this case. But then I continued to grow, and I continued to look at life, and I continued to watch how the system worked, especially when it comes to people of color, people that's poor, people that come from other places. So I say, wow. If I did not sign that plea deal, thinking that it's a possibility nobody would have sentenced me or charged me with anything because of the situation, it's a strong possibility I would have got the whole 15.
It's true.
It's true.
While we have other people like that young boy at the prestigious university who admittedly raped a girl whose father got high-ranking officials to send letters on his behalf, and he never saw jail. 6 months, and it's over for him.
Right.
And it just goes to show, like you said, money versus no money, the thing it gets you to, even the young man we had last week, they said to him, he said when he was going through the court system, they said, do you have $10,000? You have $10,000, we can let you go.
That's something else. Go ahead, Michelle.
You know, what I really wish is that, like, one thing that I want to get out of my story is I want, like, not just parents, but I want people, when it comes to cases with kids, really want people to evaluate things before they start hitting people with charges. And, you know, if I could ask for anything, like, from parents and their kids, their daughters and their sons, like, I wish people would stop being so mean, you know, like, mean to the point to where your kids is afraid of you because they can't tell you the truth of what's really going on, to where they have to lie. You know, I wish that, you know, people can have actual conversations with their kids. So, you know, people wouldn't have to make up lies in order to get out of issues. And I wish that people, regardless if it's a parent, mother, daughter, brother, cousin, anybody with any situation, not just with situations like mine, I wish people knew how to say sorry.
Oh my God.
I wish people knew how to fix issues and apologize. And, you know, like, some things is really not that hard to fix. But people don't ever want to be wrong. You know, like, you couldn't find no cases like mine because nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to be wrong. When a situation like this happens, nobody want to correct it. It is what it is. And they want to throw you in a bucket with everybody else and burn y'all alive, no matter what. You know, they want to sentence you the same. You know,
I don't know.
Did she ever apologize to you?
no, actually,
Did she ever apologize to you?
no. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. But before I tell you, I want to tell you how I met her. It used to be a little girl that used to follow me around the church.
You had to throw the church in.
Them little PK cheerings. I bet her daddy was
The church in.
And I mean, I wasn't into females, you know, so I used to, you know, like, we used to be at a church with the video games and stuff, and I used to always, like, it just used to be like, you know. But then as time progressed, when I got older, it was one day I walked into a football game at Atwood Stadium. And as soon as I walked into the football game, it was this grown woman. And she was so infatuated with me. She like, oh my God, you so fine. You so cute. Like, she really infatuated.
Wow.
It was this girl's mama. She like, you got to meet my daughter. Oh my God, you have to meet my daughter. And she walked around the football stadium the whole game looking for her daughter because she just had to introduce me into her daughter. And when we was reintroduced, we exchanged numbers, not because I just met a female that I wanted to talk to. It was on the strength of that mama.
Wow. Mamas.
That girl called me so much that my mama ended up cussing her out, telling her not to call me no more.
Oh my God. Now she's just obsessed.
Then she started sending letters to my mama's house.
Oh my God.
Pictures. And then me and my mama was having our issues at home, so I ended up leaving home. I had a shoebox of phone numbers with everybody's number that I ever got in my entire life. And I ended up alphabeticalizing them, and I put them in this little bitty notebook. And while I was hanging out in the streets, doing what I was wanting to do, be a grown little boy out in the world, thinking I knew more than what I knew about the world, thinking that I was like I had everything under control, thinking that the world was just as beautiful as it looked. You know, it was this one particular day that my friends asked me to call some females, and I end up calling this girl.
Jesus.
And I called her. Why? I don't know. I know why, but the situation happened, which was not a situation. Now, when we went to go pick this girl up and we hung out and we dropped her off and she went home. And again, I don't know exactly what she told her mama, but I can tell you a few weeks later, because I was a wrestler. I was a freestyle, folk style, Greco, All-American wrestler, and my wrestling coach bumped into me at McDonald's and he said, Roshan, what have you got yourself into? And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about?
Oh my God.
And he said, he brought up kidnapping. And I'm like, nah, nope. And I told him about the situation, you know, me and the girl. I called the girl to see what was going on. When she answered the phone, it was like she was at a party. You know, you could hear the music in the background.
Oh my God.
You know, then when she heard my voice, she just wouldn't talk.
So did none of this come out in court, like leading up to this? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I think like trials and
But they didn't go to
everything.
trial.
But
They didn't go to
no.
trial.
But even
Any parents?
mediation, I would have been like, hey, from the start, her mother is the one who wanted this to happen. You can check the phone records. Look how many times she called. Nobody did
But
any
still, I
of that.
mean, if you
They
look
didn't
at it,
backdate the story.
if
I
you
mean,
look at it, I mean, it's
because
still very black and white.
Yeah,
She was
'cause-
still considered a
She's
minor,
minor.
no matter
Yeah,
And he was
what she,
considered right.
Yeah.
yeah.
She can't legally do anything at
But
all.
the laws have changed.
Right.
Now they have.
The laws have
we have
changed.
Romeo and Juliet laws,
So
which
do we
have
retro
those.
people like that? Who
I
have
think you
been-
should. And so that's why we're here too,
Yes,
because there has to be an attorney or somebody out there
Mhm.
that you know, especially if you're an African American male and you know this could be your son or your nephew or your next door neighbor.
Mhm.
Somebody, we have to learn how to take responsibility for each other and help someone and change this. Care is right. Change these situations because it's no way this kid should die with this kind of stuff. When they expunge stuff or they delete stuff
Right.
from stuff that, you know, people are really seriously
Mhm.
convicted of things.
Yes.
You know, and they do no time. They're able to go and get great jobs,
Yes.
the whole 9 yards. Come on, let's get this thing moving. Somebody needs to help.
Yeah,
help
can
with
we
this.
even talk about, events that lead up to this? Because we're talking about your story, but we don't want your story to become somebody else's story.
Exactly.
And so we're talking about avoidance. Let's talk about how children get in these situations because I haven't, but one of my siblings did, and they actually had to go to jail for a period. And I remember my daddy praying, my mama praying, but the prayer, it wasn't as long as it could have been because it was much like your story. Him and the girl weren't much different, but he was in Job Corps and it was drinking with an underage minor. And it could have been worse because I'm sure there was touching and stuff going on there, but they only got him for the drinking part, underage minor. He went to jail for a little while and it's gone. So I know that somebody can help you. So let's talk about situations that lead up to this point that put men and women, young girls in these situations. I know you know some, Duke. I'm sure they see you.
Mhm.
Well, Roshan, you mentioned just a few seconds ago about how you wish. And one of the things you mentioned was you want to see parents and kids have a better relationship through communication, especially when you get to that teenage years, right? I mean, first of all, your hormones are all over the place, whether you're female or male. And I mean, the day and time that we're living in, it's sad to say most of our homes are single parent homes.
Of course.
So the types of support systems we need are, what would you say?
First, I wish a lot of females and males have better relationships when they have babies. I wish that, people actually got together because they really love one another, instead of getting with somebody to support their financial need or, to feel that loneliness. I wish that people got together for different reasons. And I believe that if they got together for different reasons, like real love, when they had babies, it's a greater possibility that they will grow up in two parent homes.
Mhm.
Was your dad in your home?
No.
Okay.
Uh,
Because I think if the father would have not allowed
Not at all.
you to take, because men look at stuff differently. Like my son did not do this. And they know when sex happens. Now, if you sex the girl up, that's a whole different story. You see what I'm saying? But it's a different perspective in the way men view things. And so I do believe that men especially have to come out for young men, and be able to mentor them and talk to them about, and I talk about it all the time, stay out of those situations. One thing the detective said to my son is, he's like, well, what do you do when, that was my husband, I don't know which one said it. What do you do when someone tells you they're 16 and you're 16? You know what I'm saying? And they're really 13 or they're really 14. The detective say you need to check ID. That's how serious he wanted my son to realize that situation was. He wanted him to know that this is a very serious situation and you just cannot play with your life like that. And he said, you need to check ID, whatever you need to do to keep yourself out of these situations. So you didn't have that. My husband is there with Terrence, he's there. We went in as two parents and we were not raggedy either. We made sure we was looking like we were not stupid and we were going to have an attorney and we were going to do this, the whole 9 yards. So it all made a difference.
Yes.
But
But
my
when-
brother was guilty.
See, it makes a
but he had
difference.
Our parents backing him.
But when you have that, and this is to single moms, make sure that your boys have good mentorships. I'm talking about good mentorship, mentorship situations in their life. Those who really, really, really are concerned about their well-being, that can talk to them, that can mentor them to stay out of certain situations that will literally destroy their lives. So come on, this is disturbing to me because this is any one of our boys.
It could be any one of us.
It's our nephews, it's our cousins, it's Ray, Pookie, the whole 9 yards. This stuff happens all the time. And this is not okay.
But
This
I
is not
still
okay.
go back and I say, I grew up in a single parent home, and my mother instilled things into me to where I would have common sense. And I see this all the time with our younger generation. I work with a lot of different freshmen and students, and I have this conversation over and over and over again. Do not get yourself caught up in a situation that could lead you astray. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been caught up in situations that could have led me down a path that Rashawn was down. You know what I'm saying? Just by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And no, I didn't have my father there to tell me right from wrong and things like that. I only had my mom. And but what the things that she did teach me is to have some common sense and don't keep putting yourself in situations that's gonna lead you down these crazy paths. And I'm telling you, I was the most SpongeBob SquarePants green that you could have probably ever. And it was literally.
Yes,
It was I was literally in a situation that I was completely innocent. You know what I'm saying? And it really, if the devil had its way, I would have been gone down for all kinds of stuff. Being just in the wrong place at the wrong time and surrounding myself with people that I thought were my friends that really were not. So you see me a lot of times around solo. I learned pretty quick.
And remember,
You know
your
what I'm
mama
saying?
would say this. We call him Duke. Your mama would say, if you're in the car with them when they go to jail or
Exactly.
they rob the bank
You're
or
going
whatever,
down.
guess what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You going to.
You're going
Exactly.
to.
You're going
Yes.
to. And we could still have to give our children that same advice that, and I used to tell my son all the time, birds of a feather will
Flock
flock
together.
together. Don't tell me that you're not firing it up and they are.
Right.
And so when they get you with that, whoever, your friend, with that marijuana in his pocket, you going to.
Yes.
And nowadays, of course, we have the whole social media
Of course.
side of it where, you have young girls, underage girls and boys, because I'm sure it's happening on both ends of the spectrum, that are initiating these relationships with people who are, I'm
Older,
13
of
and you
course.
don't know it because you just see my profile
That's right.
and you're 21. And
Exactly.
so young ladies, you just have to be very, very, very careful. I mean, this is nothing to play with.
Yeah.
And the support is great, but when you're on social media, I mean, now we're seeing all of this come to light. We're seeing these young girls get into relationships, and the other side is happening. They're being taken advantage of for sure.
Okay.
Some of them are losing their lives.
Yep.
Exactly.
And so parents, you have got to monitor what your children are doing on social media. You have got to be involved.
Nancy, just on last week, I read an article where a news clipping where a young girl, 15-year-old girl, met a guy on some social media platform, got with this man. This man stabbed this kid 80 times. 80 times. And killed her. He's just, I mean, what in the world? They meet people in these chat rooms.
Yes.
Kids are so smart
Gullible.
that they're dumb.
Yes.
They meet people, they get in these chat rooms and all of that kind of stuff. And these people are not who you think they are. And they will sex traffic, human trafficking, all of that stuff is very real now.
Yeah. I just had a conversation. I oversee student ambassadors, I guess you would say, and our student ambassadors range from freshmen up to seniors in college. And the conversation, I know it kind of seemed a little bit weird when I was having like an orientation meeting with them. I said, you have to be careful. I know you're probably not thinking like this, and I think all types of ways. So, but I'm saying you're not thinking about this, but you got freshmen that are coming into our university. So some of these students are may be 17 years old. They may not be 18 years old coming in as freshmen. And so you may be a junior or a senior in college. You're doing your job. You're a student ambassador, and they are seeking you out. You know what I mean? These freshmen, I'm telling you something else. They come in there, they're trying to add you to the social media and things like that. And I'm saying, I had a conversation. Be very careful on who you're adding to your social media and things like that. It does not look good for you to be 26 years old and you got a 17-year-old that's adding you on your Snapchats and things like that. But that's where the trigger comes from. You know what I'm saying? You have to be very careful of what kind of situations you're putting yourself in, because perception is everything. Even though you may not be doing anything, you're doing your job. These students are coming into the institution pursuing you.
Jeez.
And then you're the one that's going to be left holding the bag. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful of what kind of situations we put ourselves in.
Yeah, he said something earlier about parents talking to their children. And I know we come from all different backgrounds. I'm a single mom, kind of, but my daughter's in college, but we still have constant conversations. We had a whole conversation yesterday about these very topics because they drink. She doesn't, thankfully, but her friends do. And so with that, we have these conversations on how do I approach them? How do I do this? Because this happened to. And there are those very situations where they were freshmen last year. And those same freshman girls, not even a week into school, losing their virginity to boys way older. And they were the ones approaching the boys, they were the ones going after them. So you do have to, as a man, you cannot be so up that you can't say, no, no, thank you. Because like you said, at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be held responsible. If this same girl who pursued you now changes her story and puts you in a position that you never wanted to be in, and even if it doesn't come to anything, your reputation has to matter to you. You don't want your reputation tainted with the possible charge,
Shun the very appearance of evil.
Thank you.
For real.
And
Go ahead, Rashawn.
I have one more for single parent families. I want to say, I'm from Flint, Michigan, and I left my mom's house at an early age. I left real early, earlier than most, because me and my mom, we didn't have the best relationship, and I had to get away. But for single parent families, I understand that you want your sons to be tough. You may treat them a little bit differently than a daughter. They got to learn they'll be okay, and I'm not saying you have to be soft to your sons either. But if they leave your house at an early age, go get them. You know, I do believe that if I was in the courtroom with anybody, just an adult, just one adult, I do think my situation would have been differently. I was sitting in the courtroom by myself
Jeez.
at the
That's
age
what
of 17,
Lord
Yeah,
have
you
I was
know,
mercy.
gonna
dealing
ask
with
you.
this by myself.
Who
Yeah,
was
I
there with
thinking,
you
where was
Yeah.
mom?
when you were
Yeah.
going through all of this and making
Yeah.
these grown man decisions? Who was there with you to go through that with you?
I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because, you know, and it sometimes, and I will speak this as from a woman's perspective, when we do have the boys, and especially if it's in a single family household. I even saw that with my brother. My brother did 28 years in prison with my mom, you know, trying to just make sure that he's the tough one, or, you know, just not connecting. I think just not connecting with you know, taking care of them, you know, buying clothes, buying food, but just that connection where it just was no, it wasn't there. And so when you lose that connection, these things happen. And your children, what happens is your children become vulnerable to a system, be it the system of the world, you know, be it, it's a system. You know, when you allow your children to become vulnerable and you're not there, you're not pushing, you're not for them, it's no way that would have happened if you would have had a support system. You know, it's just, I just want to say, I'm just so sorry that has happened to you, but I am, but I know it's all right, you know, with you now, because you are resilient. When I look at you, I see resilience, and I don't see bitterness. I don't see where you allowed it to consume your life, although that's what the enemy meant. You know, but I'm sorry for a system that is in place that is not fair, that is not just. That's not right. This is just not right.
It's been a time in my life to where this situation, you know, as I got older, it tore me down in a way that is unimaginable for most. You know, like I didn't think I wanted to live anymore. I contemplated suicide and homicide, and you know, I contemplated all kind of stuff. I was using drugs and drinking myself to sleep. It's like, why won't this leave me alone? Why won't this let me go? Why am I still dealing with this? You know, why is people hold me away from this? Why can't I get a job over here? Why nobody want to pay me this? Why I can't get me a decent place to live? Why nobody want to rent to me? You know, and
oh my God.
And I was like really going through something. And
of course.
And I don't know what happened. But one day, like I was telling Mr. Bernard, one day, out of all the pain I was going through, something literally clicked off in me. And it was like, man, everything that everybody is doing to you to beat you down, break you down, tear you down, humiliate you, try to destroy you, you can use that for your greatness because you are great. Take everything that they do to tear you down, to build yourself up, and you go fight for everybody that might go through that same battle as
That's
you.
right.
Wow.
That's right.
Tell us, Rashawn, how are you doing that? How are you doing that today?
Number one with this, you got to show them. Should raise this. I can't wait to read mine.
I wrote these books here. These books, when I say it took me through every single emotion, it literally took me through every single emotion that you can imagine. But I got through with it. And I used these books. My story actually sparked the idea of the Pure Justice Organization, to where we work to bring equity and fairness to the criminal justice system, as well as creating economic opportunities for marginalized communities. We are a grassroots nonprofit organization, and all of our funds come from strictly from the book sales and our T-shirt sales. If you like to get you a copy of my book, you can go to the website. If you'd like to get you a T-shirt, go to purejustice.org. This is how we support the organization. This is how we do everything that we do through the book sales.
How much are the books?
They're $20.
Okay.
$20 plus a $5.
Do you cash app, or you have to go to the website?
I do cash
Do
app.
your cash app. What is your cash app?
Cash app is $ pure, Pure, justice, JUSTICE, in the four, just put book, put your address. You can actually contact me at the office at 713-370-7490. Again, at 713-370-7490. You can go to the website again, that's purejustice.org. My Facebook is R-O-C Evans. Instagram is Roshan's Journey 1 at Instagram. Check the YouTube out at Roshan's Journey at YouTube. And again, that website is purejustice.org.
Oh,
And Rashawn, if you can just talk about, I definitely want to bring this up before we close out, because you've heard his story. You can you get a feeling of what our brothers and sisters are dealing with when they have been incarcerated, or if they're trying to reintegrate back into society. So Rashawn, if you can, for somebody that's reintegrating back into society, you've gone through all these different things, you've been incarcerated. I know that it's difficult for you to find employment and things like that. So could you talk about some of the things that your organization is doing to help those who have had those similar story reintegrate back into society?
Well, from the financial standpoint, I understand it's hard to get employment. Like I say, one year I literally had 16 W-2s.
Jeez.
So the founder of the organization, her name is Sasha Leggett. She graduated law school. She is not practicing law here in Houston. She still have to take the bar. But she, along with a few other females, created a coalition, a workers coalition for construction workers. So people that have records, they can actually get a job in construction. But not only that, we are looking forward to opening up a coffee shop. Projected date is June, July.
Congratulations.
And the coffee shop, and again, not to be biased against people without records, but we are certainly going to be focused on the people that don't have as many opportunities as others.
That is so cool.
Definitely.
You guys are you gonna have like open conversation and stuff Yeah, you should. I'm coming.
Set up your
I
whole
don't
talk
drink coffee,
show.
have some tea.
Shout out to you.
Oh my God. So I just want to thank you
Yeah.
so much. And I want to thank Mr. Bernard for he's taken over the seat. And so he's been responsible for getting people, because I am burnt out. I mean, people just come, and I'm just so grateful that they will come and share their story. They don't even, I don't know you. I met you one time, I found out at Buy Black. Spent a whole day there putting out cards and helping Nancy sell stuff. So I am so grateful that we've met again. We will definitely form a prayer circle on behalf of Roshan Evans. And we expect 2020, the year of blessings.
Mm-hmm.
We expect a great move.
Mm-hmm.
We expect you to be back on this show to tell people about the power of the Most High God and how faithful and great He is. I mean, you're not the first one to be put in the prison system that was innocent. We're gonna go all the way back to Joseph, who was put in the pit, then went to the prison, but ended up in the palace. So we decree and declare that you will end up in the palace. Come on now here. So my Aisha, I think the song is very appropriate, because there are those that are still living under a horrible place of shame, ridicule, and bitterness and pain because of the things that they have gone through. So I like this song that you're gonna sing. We ask you to let Him use you, like the old folks. Let Him use you. We're so ready. You're gonna pray us out as well. Pray for Rashawn. Almost. Can you reach my friend? She gonna do, they gonna find it. I don't even recognize that. We gonna do it just because the devil don't want us to.
Exactly. Second.
Because it's the second time he done pulled this stunt.
Thank you for
thank
coming.
Thank you for coming. Lord have mercy. Mm-mm. It should be the first one that she sent, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It went back through. He did this last week too. So we're gonna
I'm forwarding it to you again, Tony.
make the enemy out of the liar that he is. And that is him. There you go. Breaks everything else.
I got a call from an old friend. We laughed about how we had changed, but I could tell things weren't going as well as he claimed. He tried to hide his feelings, but they only gave him away. The longer I listened, the more I kept wishing that I knew the right words to say. Can you reach my friend? Bring your searching to an end. Lord, I know you love him. Help him understand. Can you reach my friend? You're the only one who can. Help him give his heart to you. We talked for more than an hour. I smiled when he mentioned your name. I said that I knew you. I told him the difference you made. But he never thought he would need you. But maybe he's changing his mind. As we said goodbye, Lord, he told me that I had found something that he'd like to find. So can you reach my friend? Bring the searching one who can. Lord, I know you love him. Help him understand. Can you reach my friend? Bring the searching to an end. Help him give his heart to. Maybe he's ready tonight. Lord, you said that he might need to call you. Oh, yes, my Lord. I wanna know, can you reach my friend? When you're searching to an end, Lord, I know that you love him, so help him understand. Can you reach my friend? Bring us a searching to an end. Help him give his heart to you. Help him give his heart to you. Father, we lift up Rashard to you tonight.
Oh, yes, God.
And we lift up every falsely accused man and woman that have been done wrongly by our justice system. Father, our justice system is to bring justice. So we pray, Father, that you would go in and you would retro the laws so that people who've been wrongfully accused can now, under this new system, be granted an expungement, be granted righteousness that they're due, Father. I thank you that he will not live and they will not live under the stigma of shame, under the stigma of guilt, under the stigma of reproach, under stigma of injunctions of indignation that has been brought against him. But I thank you for restoration. You said that you, Father, would purge our conscience of the dead works. You said that we wouldn't even remember the things of our youth, the former things. So, Father, if you can do that for us, do it for them. You said even when they are guilty, for the sake of the righteous, you could redeem them, Father. So, Father, for the sake of the righteous who have been done wrong, redeem them because your name is on the line. And we're looking to you to bring justice in an unjust world. Father, we're not asking for things to be fair. We're asking for your love to be shown, for your light to be put in the midst of this darkness, for them to rise from the ashes. You're the God who can do that. You said out of the ashes, we can rise. And certainly his life, their lives have sometimes been reduced to ashes. So from this, bring forth beauty for the ashes, God. Give them strength for mourning. Give them joy, Father God, for despair. You're able to do that. So we're counting on you, God of recompense. You talked about you being Jehovah Gamola. Now is the time for you to show yourself strong. You said if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways, you would hear from heaven and hear our land, heal our land. Father, hear us and heal the land of their hearts, heal the land of their soul, heal the land of their minds. You said that, beloved, I wish above all things that you will prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Their souls have been hit with deterioration because of the things that they've suffered. Father, let love go in and bring healing and hope and restoration and bring them wholeness so that their lives can prosper. Thank you for shifts in mindset. Thank you, Father, for change that only divinity can bring. We give you glory and honor in advance for the testimonies that will come because light came. The entrance of your word does bring light. So we thank you that your word is entered. Light is coming to their souls and into their lives. And the change that's coming is going to be one that when men see, we will all say, this is the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.